Before the golden glow of our slow southern autumn dotted the landscape this year, I had a lighthearted conversation with my mom about interior design. Nothing serious, just a simple discussion around trending colors and styles in a few shelter magazines I'd been browsing, and a few ideas for a fresh look here and there. At least, the conversation was pretty lighthearted until I made a firm declaration against the color yellow. I didn't want anything to do with it. Because even though I like a lot of colors, yellow is not one of my favorites. In fact, it doesn't even make the list when I consider updating a room, choosing a piece of home decor, or selecting a paint color. Now, if you like yellow, please don't click away just yet. Redemption is coming, I promise. With this conversation in mind, imagine my surprise when I walked outside the very next morning, preparing to leave for work, and I happened upon something new in my flower garden. There, in the fresh light of a brand new day, my first ever dahlia bloom started to push her way into the world. I'd been anticipating this moment for at least 2 months, wondering if it would ever actually come. I still consider myself an amateur gardener, but on a whim a few months earlier, I picked up a packet of dahlia seeds, planted them in a pot, and started watering. It was I don't really know what I'm doing, but let's just see what happens kind of project. I spaced the seeds too close together. I didn't separate and transplant them like I should have, and I'd honestly started to think all I would ever see was a thin stalk and small, delicate green leaves. Until the morning I noticed something different when I stepped outside on my way to work. And by now, do I even need to tell you what color she was? Yup, you guessed it. The sweetest shade of pale yellow that instantly made me think of my adamant stance the night before. Suddenly, instead of feeling disappointment, the cheerful tone warmed my heart. And I started to think God might be having a big smile on my behalf. After months of uncertain anticipation, He gifted me with a beautiful bloom. Not the color I would have chosen, but the excitement of seeing my first seed start to blossom made me realize it was perfect just the way it was. It's such a simple illustration of the way God works, isn't it? As we sketch out our 5-year plans and stack the carefully designed components of our lives, He shows up in the most surprising ways, with a gentle reminder to align our desires with His, instead of trying to carve out our own bold agenda. These days, the color yellow really grabs my attention, especially in nature. And a couple weeks ago, I found myself on a brief prayer walk in the parking lot at work, quoting the words in Luke 1:45. Blessed is she that believed, for there shall be a performance of those things which were told her from the Lord. No sooner had I whispered the words in a crowded lot filled with the noise of ongoing construction than the most amazing thing happened. A large yellow butterfly flew directly in front of my face. It seemed to come out of nowhere and came so close it caused me to stop and step back. Then I smiled and said, "Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord." What a blessing to know He cares and that He specializes in such a personal touch. I hope you can carry this reminder into your week as well. And may we continue to embrace God's gifts as they are, and not as we think they should be. Speaking of gifts, I have the gift of celebrating my mom's birthday with her next week, as she embraces a milestone year. Then it'll be time to gather for Thanksgiving. So I'll be taking a quick break here, but I look forward to connecting again and catching up with you in the last week of November. Until then, friends, let's look for yellow and keep walking toward the light.